Hey everyone, apologies, it's been a while since my last video, and I figured what better way of kicking it all off again than doing a pattern of George Barron's At the End of the Line. Now, this is a Watson's Fancy and is found on page 95 in the book. So let's go on the vise, let's go on some fly tying. The hook in the vise is a competition filling mill 1530 size 12, and the thread I'm using is Semperfi Classic Wax in 12/0. Now I'm just going to start with a thread base. You can leave yourself a little bit of a gap behind the hook eye like so if you want to. I'm going to add these thread wraps just to above the barb of the hook, just kind of into that bend ever so slightly. A single pheasant crest. I'm going to turn like that so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see that I'm going to kind of trap it with the curvature in line with the hook shank, like so. Now, tricky bit this, but I find it's better to do it. Go under and an extra wrap just to trap them in, like so. If you think it's a little bit long at this point, you can give it a little bit of a pull, quick, regular round, just to get where you want it. If you've got a few extra fibers kind of kicking off there, no biggie, you can just get rid of them in a sec, or you can keep them in there. It's really up to you. For the wire, I'm using Semperfi 0.2mm silver. I'm just going to work that in, pass the wire under the underbelly of the hook shank. I can kind of just trap all that in now, peel that back, and just snip off the excess. The reason behind that is you don't want to overcrowd towards the hook eye at this point. Okay, just move that back. And work that back down. Now, I'm not fussed about those little bits. It's all going to get covered up in some dubbing in a sec. Speaking of dubbing, the first dubbing to go in is some red seal's fur. Bit of wax into the thread. And in with some red seal's fur. Okay, gotta get that in reasonably tight at this point. And just anchor that in at the bottom and work my way up. Right, got the back, bit more wax, and in with the black dubbing. Okay, same thing there, just going to nice and tight there, pinch and anchor it. Back that up a little bit more. Okay, peel that back, just so I've got that room there to work with. Okay, just a few extra turns so I can use the rotary function of the vise. Kind of moved away from using the cradle, it's just quicker that way. Okay, and then thread wraps now towards the hook eye. Just making sure everything's nice and even. Okay, bit of Velcro in this, just to peel out some of those self-air fibres. George mentions in the book that he has his well brushed out, so we'll do the same on this one. We're going to go brushing out. And just move all that back. What I don't like though, however, is the fibres extending beyond the tail. That's just a bit of a thing I don't like. So, up to you. Right, from this point, we're going to now just work that a little bit back. I'm going to catch in a hen hackle. Okay, so I'm going to take a black end hackle. Now, in the book, George does put in there that he mentions fairness. Now, whether or not that's just his twist on it or it's a bit of a editing mistake, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to go with the traditional dressing on this, and I'm going to go with the black hackle. Okay. Trap that in and then just wet the fibres, peel them back. I can double that up from there. Nice touching turns. Right, one behind, one in front, and all this. And same thing, I'm going to kind of, like I did with the wire, I'm going to work that towards the hook eye. Just promotes that nice even landing space for the wing slips. Alright, work that back, just like so. Right, now for the wing slips, it's wood pigeon. George likes wood pigeon in a lot of his patterns, so I'm going to take some slips from some wood pigeon secondaries, measure them up to kind of halfway between the tail. I prefer to go a little bit longer than shorter, so just check we've got everything lying where we want it. Alright, let's work that back. With the scissors. Nice close trim. At this point I'm just going to close my thread up just to make sure I can get a good solid covering. At this point there, just work that back like that. Yeah, wing slips are fine. And then lastly, some split jungle cock slips in there. Or cheeks, I mean. So, they seem pretty long, how George has them in the book, kind of thorax and probably a little bit longer than thorax, so I'll just keep to what George has got in the book there. You can see there, I'll just kind of measure them to the side of the hook, catch them in, make sure I'm happy with those. Okay, work the thread back. Keep that all under tension while I do that. And then from there, just a quick whip finish and we're done. Got something getting caught in that. And there you go. There is your finished Watson's Fancy. Bit of varnish and we're good to go.